Today we're going to be learning about the intercepts of a graph. Okay, do you guys know how many points it takes to determine a line? If I put dots on my notes, how many dots or how many points would I have to put on there to draw a line? And it would be 2, because if you have 2 points, you can draw a line through them. So the intercepts, notice that's plural, there's going to be 2 of them. And when you think of the word intercept, it sounds kind of like intersects. And we're going to be talking about the X and the Y-intercepts of a graph. So if you look at a coordinate plane, and you draw a line like that, okay, the X-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So it's a point right here. That's the X-intercept. Well, on any X-intercept, no matter where it crosses on your x-axis, what value will never change? What value in your ordered pair will never change? Well, you're always going to have the x value because you move right or left, but you're never going to move up or down. So it's going to be x, 0. So an X-intercept is the x-coordinate of a point where a graph crosses the x-axis. So now, on the flip side of that, the Y-intercept, it's where it intersects the y-axis. Let's think about this too. What's not going to change on every Y-intercept? Every time it hits the y-axis, what's not going to change? Well, notice on the y-axis you're not moving any right or left, so it's always going to be 0 for the x and whatever your y value is. So it's the y-coordinate of a point where a graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, so on every x-intercept it says to find the x-intercept of a line, substitute 0 in for y, because look at, on the x-intercept, y is always 0, and solve for x. To find the y-intercept, notice your y-intercept, x is always 0, so we're going to substitute 0 for x and solve for y. This is very easy. This will give you 2 points. Okay, so when you plug in the 0, it will give you whatever you got for x and your 0. Your y-intercept will give you 0 you plugged in for x, and it will give you y. So this problem says, find the intercepts of the graph 2x minus 5y equals -10. Okay, so if we're going to find the x-intercept, we know on the x-intercept y has to be equal to 0. So we're going to plug in 0 for y. So we write 2 times x minus 5 times 0 equals -10. And solve. Well, 5 times 0, those cancel out. So you're left with 2x equals -10. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to equal -5. Okay, and I always remind myself, when I do this, I plugged in 0 for y. This is going to make an ordered pair. So my x is -5, the point where it's 0 for y. This creates 1 point on our line. Now we have to find the y-intercept. Remember, it's where it crosses the y-axis. We know that x is 0. So I substitute in for 2 times 0 minus 5 times y equals -10. This is 0. Do your keep change opposite. So I have -5y equals -10. Divide both sides by -5, and y is going to equal 2. Okay, now remember, this makes our other point. We substituted in 0 for x, and we got 2 for y. Okay, There are the 2 points that will make up the line. Please do not put your X and your Y-intercepts as one ordered pair. It does not create one ordered pair. It's 2 points. 2 points. Okay, so we came up with our 2 ordered pairs. Okay, remember, we plugged in and we got, we got -5, 0, and we also got 0, 2. These are our 2 points from the other page. To graph it, so easy, you guys. You're going to love this. You just locate the points on the graph. -5, 0 is here. 0, 2, we move right or left, 0, up 2. And there's your line. You connect. You can tell a whole bunch of things from this line. We know that the slope is positive. Okay? You can actually find the slope by rising and running, which we call a change in Y. So our change in Y over the change in X. How many are we going up? It's 2 over, how many are we going over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope is 2/5. Lots you can tell about this. Okay? I want you guys to do, and you might have to screenshot this to be able to get it to work right, but go ahead and try number 1, and let's do number 2 together. So to find the X-intercept, we're going to plug in Y equals 0. So 3 times X minus 6 times 0, which they're just going to cancel out. That's going to cancel out. So you have 3X equals 12. Divide by 3. X is equal to 4. So I always do this. You don't have to. There's your X-intercept. I know it makes the point 4, 0. Let's find the Y-intercept. We plug in X equals 0. These are little reminders I make to myself. So 3 times 0 minus 6y equals 12. Well, do keep change opposite. It's -6y equals 12. Divide both sides by -6. So y equals -2. Okay, there's my Y-intercept, and I'm going to make the ordered pair. I'm going to make it 0, -2, and just plot them. Okay, so you go over to your graph, you go over to 0, -2, which is right here, and 4, 0, which is right here, and we connect. Again, this one has a positive slope. Can you guys tell me what the slope is? Tell me what the slope is of this line. Bring it to class. We always ask ourselves, when are we ever going to use this? Fitness. You run and walk on a fitness trail that is 12 miles long. You can run 6 miles per hour and walk 3 miles per hour. Write and graph an equation describing your possible running and walking times on the fitness trail. Give 3 possible combinations of running and walking. So it says we're going to let X be the running time, because we have running and walking. And Y is going to be the walking time. Okay? Well, if you walk and run, that's going to equal 12 miles. Okay? Well, what we have to do is write an equation. We are running 6 miles per hour for X amount of time. We are walking 3 miles an hour for Y period of time. Okay, so all we're going to do is find the X and the Y-intercepts of this equation. So it's 6X plus 3Y equals 12. Okay, X-intercept. Y is 0. So we're going to take 6X plus 3 times 0 equals 12. So 6X, those cancel, equals 12. Divide by 6. X is equal to 2. So we know there's the X-intercept, but know you have that point, 2, 0. Then find the Y-intercept. We know X is equal to 0, so we have 6 times 0 plus 3Y equals 12. These cancel out. 3y equals 12. Divide by 3. Y equals 4. So there's my y-intercept, but I know the ordered pair is 0, 4. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and graph this. Okay, so go to your graph, and we're not going to include the negatives because we're not going to have negative running times and distances. Here's your origin. We're only going to use the first quadrant of the graph. So we go over to 2, 0, and 0, 4. You got to be real careful that you draw a nice straight line through this. So when you do that, oops, that doesn't look very good. You're going to want to use a straight edge. And since my pen is a little thicker, it's not really showing up right, but I know there's another point right here. So what we can say from this is, okay, at your intercepts, here's one of the choices. One of the choices is our X-intercept. One of our choices is our Y-intercept. And the other choice is the choice that makes a perfect point, which is 1, 2. And then you just tell what that means. And what that means is you could 2, 0. You can run for 2 hours, or you can 2, 0. You can run 2 hours, walk none. There's that choice. You can, if X is 1, you can run 1 hour. The 2 is going to be walking 2 hours. 2 hours walked. Or the 4, 0, or sorry, 0, 4 means you can run none and walk for 4 hours. Okay, makes sense? Bring that back to class, the one I asked you to do, and find those slopes on those two problems, numbers 1. Find the slope on 1 and tell me what the slope is on 2.